There was an email that was to a pseudonym that was Joe Biden that had Hunter copied on it, and it was an email about Ukraine policy at the same time that Devin Archer testified that the owners of Burisma were squeezing Hunter to call Washington for help.
The National Archives and Records Administration has admitted having more than 5,000 emails in which then Vice President Biden used a pseudonym for government business. The Southeastern Legal Foundation is now suing the government agency under the Freedom of Information Act, demanding access to the email messages which utilize aliases including Robin Ware, J.R.B. Ware, and Robert L. Peters.
We have the FOIA statute for a reason, and it says that any government records can be produced, obviously with exceptions of attorney-client privilege and some other limited national security exceptions. These records certainly do not fall under that. These are emails where Joe Biden used fake email addresses, he used pseudonyms to send government information to his son. At that point, they become public records.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer now wants to see all of the pseudonym emails, as well as unredacted versions of the few that have been made public.
This is the work that U.S. Attorney Weiss and now Special Counsel Weiss should be doing. It shouldn't be House Republicans that are having to do the job of the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate this matter.
There's also no reason for the White House to refuse to disclose these official vice presidential records, unless it has something to hide.
What we're doing now is we're putting a timeline together on all these bank transfers that we've identified, all the bank wires. We're trying to now put a timeline with communications that Hunter had with his father, with his so-called associates. And we're finding that now he was on Air Force 2 a whole lot more than anyone thought.
To date, the House Oversight Committee has published 3 bank records memorandums. The third, which alleges how during Joe Biden's vice presidency, his family and their business associates received over $20 million from foreign sources. In a statement, Mr. Comer said it appears no real services were provided for the money other than access to the Biden network, which included Joe Biden himself.
This is payback for the millions of dollars that the Biden family received because of their access to the brand, to the big guy being Joe Biden. There were no services being delivered except for access.
Much of the focus again relates to Ukrainian energy giant Burisma, where Hunter Biden served on the board. But one of the allegations surrounds a 2014 transfer of $3.5 million to a shell company called Rosemont Seneca Thornton from Russian billionaire Yelena Baturina. Of this money, $750,000 was transferred to Devin Archer. You'll remember he recently gave closed-door testimony to the House Oversight Committee. And the remainder of the money was used to initially fund a new company account, Rosemont Seneca Bohai, which Devin Archer and Hunter Biden used to receive other foreign wires. That spring of 2014, after the money had been wired, it alleged that Joe Biden had dinner with Ms. Baturina, along with Hunter and Devin Archer, at Cafe Milano in Washington, D.C.
Can you confirm that as sitting vice president, he dined with Baturina in Georgetown?
I'm just not speaking to anything that's related to his son from here. If you want to ask a question about Hunter Biden specifically, I would refer you to his family.
The memo also makes clear that following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, several Russian oligarchs were placed on the public sanctions list, and that notably Yelena Baturina is not on that list.
As it relates to any sanctions, I'm not speaking to individual persons that are from Russia.
Another interesting payment flagged in the memo is a very specific $142,300, the exact price of Biden's sports car, to that same bank account I referenced just now, Rosemont Seneca Bohai, used by Hunter Biden and Devin Archer. It's alleged that the money came from a Kazakhstani oligarch, and following payment, Hunter and Mr. Archer then arranged for Burisma executives to visit Kazakhstan in June 2014 to evaluate a 3-way deal among Burisma, a Chinese state-owned company, and the government of Kazakhstan.
30-plus meetings, 20-some phone calls, dinners with the wealthiest woman in Russia, and all they talked about was the weather, we're supposed to believe?
For years, Joe Biden has denied ever discussing Hunter's business dealings with him, a response that changed only recently.
The president was never in business with his son.
With James Comer's third bank memo release, the list of allegations surrounding the Biden family's business dealings is growing, as is pressure for Mr. Biden to talk to the press, a press that's largely ignoring developments.
We know that from a Hunter Biden associate now that he's sold the appearance of access to then Vice President Biden. Are you confident that he has stopped doing that?
That is a question for Hunter Biden.
If somebody is selling the appearance of access to the White House, that is a question for the White House.
No,